This episode is brought to you by Amazon Prime. There's nothing sweeter than baking cookies during the holidays. With Prime, I get all my ingredients delivered right to my door, fast and free, no last-minute store trips needed. And of course, I blast my favorite holiday playlist on Amazon Music. It's the ultimate soundtrack for creating unforgettable memories. From streaming to shopping, it's on Prime. Visit Amazon.com/Prime to get more out of whatever you're into.
On this episode of Bantha Milk Podcast, we interview Galactic Empire.
Rock and roll. It's gone. Let's try again.
Intro music.
Feels no good to be dead.
I can't dance. I have to.
Bounty hunting is a complicated profession.
You're not allowed to dance until we get that fixed.
Yeah, I'm dancing and the cables get breaking on us.
This is the tiny town in Footloose. No dancing for you.
No dancing for me.
But that's okay.
That's okay.
Because you're Kevin Bacon. And at the end of the day, you're going to bring that town around.
I am. I'm going to dance
John
anyway.
John Lovitz. Not John Lovitz.
John Lovitz?
No, that's a different guy. Who's the bad guy in that one? It's not John Lovitz.
It wasn't John Larroquette.
No, it's the guy from Third Rock from the Sun.
Oh,
John Lithgow.
That's
That's right.
That's
There's another
it.
John L.
There you go. You got it.
Yeah. All right, man.
We got there.
So we're here.
We're here.
It is Bantha Milk Podcast, here to review episode 9, the secret episode of Ahsoka that no one knew was dropping. Right? Where Ahsoka comes and joins up with Luke, and they find the Infinity Gauntlet, and Thanos comes, and they have to fight Gandalf for access to Hogwarts. It's pretty intense.
They do all those things.
It's a pretty intense thing.
It is very intense.
No, but we are actually here awaiting the arrival of rock band emeritus Galactic Empire.
Galactic Empire.
Prog rock aficionados.
What is prog rock?
Progressive.
Do you know? Oh, progressive.
Progressive rock.
And
it's
progressive
it's none of that conservative rock.
Right. No, it's not conservative
left-wing rock.
It's, it's very progressive.
It's the CNN rock and roll.
It is. That's exactly what it is.
So yeah, while we were waiting for that, we're just gonna hang and chat a little bit about it. Oh, there it is. Yeah, let's take a listen.
So it's the Imperial March, way sped up, but still all at the same speed at the same time.
I was listening on the way here. There was. I mean, they're all really great, but there was one that I was listening to that I was like, wow, this is really excellent. The Battle of Hoth is a good one.
Okay.
The Mandalorian theme is one of my favorites, actually. I don't know how much you've listened to that one. The special edition CD is actually just a lot of really good, some bangers on that one for sure.
Nice. We'll definitely have to talk to Eric all about that. Eric will be joining us from Galactic Empire a little later today.
You think they're joining us from the Galactic Empire?
They will be in the Galactic Empire.
I hope so.
Yes. Do you have my glass over there? Because you have one glass. You brought 2 glasses down.
I scooted it towards you.
Oh, did I take it upstairs?
I think you might have taken it upstairs.
Took it upstairs.
Why don't you
with
go
all
get
the
it?
dirties. It's okay. I just drink it with.
Like some riffraff drinking out of a can.
I drink all mine out of a can.
Oh man, look at you.
That's how I do.
Duffman can't breathe. Oh no. Well, you should crack it because I beat you to it.
You
man.
did.
We were doing so
it.
much setup. I was like, I got to do the thing.
So Nick was in the. He's got his typical bourbon over there.
Bourbon whiskey. That's right.
I went out and got Star Jockey Galactic Hop Hazy IPA.
Galactic Hop.
So the hops are from a
different galaxy,
far, far away. Yes.
And what is a hazy IPA?
So it's funny because our good friend Jason over at Ears Up. Hey, check out Ears Up in depth, scraping the vaults, the Supreme Resort, Puny Pod, and I think that's all of them. Check them all out. They're on Ears Up. But Jason is also a beer connoisseur as well and has worked on beer podcasts for many, many years. And when they first made hazy IPAs, they were all opposed to it because you make an IPA, but then you're adding other fruits and stuff in there. But then because of the fruits, if you don't strain it and clean it properly, it's just hazy.
Sure.
So they were like,
hence the name.
Hence the name. They were like, this is just, easy way of not filtering and all that good stuff. Since then, they have actually updated the technology and the process. So now it's hazy for different, like it's hazy because it still has like some fruits and stuff in it, but they actually do a much better job now, most of the beer companies, of cleaning and purifying and all that stuff as well. So where before it was just like, oh, you're too lazy to clean your IPA properly, that's why it's a hazy IPA. Now it's considered a whole thing of its own. So that's
as it often happens. We have resistance to the change and saying it's like jazz music. Oh, that jazz music is that newfangled music with them young whippersnappers and their saxophones and their bebops and their scoodops.
Bebops and scoodops.
Those are actual quotes from old people.
That's right. That's exactly what they say.
And of course now it's the old person. So 50 years from now, people are going to look at hazy IPAs, and that's going to be the norm.
That's just going to be the norm.
Look at you with your clear beverage.
So a lot of it is
clean.
It's also like a stronger IPA or stronger percentage and all that good stuff. So hazy IPAs are normally a little bit more hoppy and more fruity and stuff. So here it goes.
Crack it. Let's
Unfortunately,
hear it.
We won't be able to see the
pour.
Because there will be no pour, but I will tell you how galactic the hops are. That's for sure.
Let's hop on that galactic train there. What do you think?
It's very nice.
Do you feel whisked away to a galaxy?
I feel like I'm on an X-wing right now.
Right now,
flying away.
Wow, there must be some pretty hard stuff in there. If that's how you're feeling. Man.
It's like hit me that fast. Yeah, it was like.
Man,
no, it's good stuff.
Crazy. Oh man. All right, so
it's from Yards Brewing Company in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
very close to us.
You getting any notes or hints of anything?
It's just a nice beer. I just like it.
You can tell we're not like super drinky beer people, or drink, because it's like, do you get any notes or anything? You're just like, it's just a good beer. I get notes of good beer.
I get notes of goodness.
That's the sort of hard hitting commentary you get on Bantha Mug Podcast.
So like a lot of like IPAs are just hop bombs. They just put lots and lots of hops into it, and that's where you get all the IBUs and everything out of it. But it tastes like, some of them taste like you're eating a pine tree, because hops are very, like, have a very piney taste to them. Some of them. There's now so many different varieties of hops also that they all have different flavors and tastes and stuff like that. This one's not overly hoppy. Like, I've had some where I'm like, whoa, my gosh. So it's nice. It has a very good, like, just an even, smooth flavor to me.
Doesn't taste like Band-Aids.
Doesn't taste like Band-Aids. Doesn't taste like
the Giggling Yoda.
Giggling Yoda. Oh God, the Giggling Yoda. I'll tell you what Untapped says about Star Jockey.
Tell me what they say about it.
Star Jockey.
Oh, I thought maybe he had it up already.
I do now. Brewed with cosmic punch and infused with galaxy hops, this rocket is ready to ride, buckaroo, so saddle up and hold fast. We don't blast off. We blast on and on and on across the universe and beyond. So the flavor profile that most people, 6,000 people have already checked into it. Citrusy, hazy, smooth, grapefruity, and some people said soapy.
Soapy
is like an off flavor that you don't want.
I would say, that's not a desirable
quality.
Beer.
Yes, but I do get the grapefruity and the smooth. It is very smooth. It doesn't have a lot of like back kick that, like a bourbon, you feel it down in your chest.
Sure.
Yeah. So it is. I agree with them. I think I like it, and
you're not getting the hints of soap.
I'm not getting the hints of soap, and I'm going to check in right now, and I'm going to give it a 4.5.
So what is this app you're using?
This is called Untapped.
You're supposed to like rank the beverages you drink?
Yeah, so when you drink it, you give it rankings and stuff like that. I use it more for myself, because then I know I can go back and
see what you like,
see what I liked or whatever.
How many beers do you have logged in there so far?
Let's see.
Like, how long have you been using this bad boy?
For a while. I have 663 check-ins, 570 different beers from 2012. So over a decade.
570 different types of beer in the past 10 years?
Yes.
There's not a chance in the world I've had that many different types of beer. I like
well,
have
not types,
one
different beers.
Right.
Like, yeah. Okay.
Not like different types of beer.
No.
Just different times drinking a beer.
No. Well, okay. Different beers. It has I've checked in 570 times with beers. occasionally it could be the same beer 2 or 3 times, but it's probably 540. I would say probably out of 570, probably 540 different beers.
That's a lot of different beers, man.
Yeah. So, and this is nothing. I have friends who have thousands of different beer check-ins.
I just drink the same thing all the time.
See, and that's where this makes it fun because you're not like stuck in a rut. Like you go to a different place. You go, oh, let me try this instead. Let me try that instead.
And then you can just check. It's like got to catch them all. You're playing Pokemon.
Yeah, it's like
with your
Pokemon, but Pokemon for beer.
Yeah.
So
well,
there
you
go.
just caught yourself a level 70 little
I did.
Star Jockey.
A little Star Jockey. I got a level 70 Star Jockey.
Love that.
It is very nice. So I would definitely check it out. And if you're into drinking all different beers, you would have 900 check-ins, but just 2.
It'd be Yingling and maybe the occasional Red Stripe.
Right.
That's about it.
Which, I mean, to each his own. I know my brother just drinks like Miller Lite all the time, so he wouldn't have as much fun either. But to me, this is fun. I like to try all the different flavors. I like to see what I like and what I don't like.
And do you have some pour ratings in there?
Yeah. There. So there's Dogfish Head Brewery, which is a big one in Delaware.
Yeah.
We went down to their brewery probably 10 years ago at this point. And they had one beer. It was like a 16 or an 18% IBU. Like, it was so high.
Yeah.
We tried it. To us, it tasted like drinking gasoline.
Ew.
Like, it was so nasty.
Not what you want.
Not what you want. So I did give that a very low one. Now, Sherry is a lot more critical than Brad and I. We always give anywhere between a 3.5 to 4.5, on beers. Sherry is very critical. When she checks in, she's like, "Oh, this is awful." She'll give it like a 1.25.
Does she like beer?
She does like beer.
Okay.
But she's like you. She's very specific with what she likes. But she keeps trying all these other ones, trying to see if she likes different flavors.
And she does not.
No.
All right. Well.
So, yeah.
To each her own.
To each her own. That's right. So that's that. So that's our this week on Beers with Bantha Milk.
Yeah, because we're very knowledgeable on those subjects.
We are very knowledgeable on those subjects.
We only talk about what we really know on this podcast.
That's right, which is not much. So we talk about that
Star
for a
Wars
lot.
is about
Star Wars. That's right. So Ahsoka's over now.
It is.
8 episodes in.
It's done.
It's done. What do you think as a whole? So let's give ourselves a little rundown of the whole series.
Get that rundown.
Get that rundown for us,
Just
please.
sending this rundown to my dad. So the last half of the season did some work in salvaging it for me. I mean, the first half, we talked. It was slow. I wasn't. It is certainly not my favorite Star Wars IP that has come out in the last couple of years, but the last couple episodes were good enough, I think, that it propelled the season forward. I just, and we've said it just about every new live action that comes out, I don't think that the model that they're using is one for success when it comes to like 8 episodes a season and they're short episodes. Like,
right.
It feels like they're rushing to tell a story while at the same time taking their time.
Yeah.
So if either they were allowed 15 episodes a season or like 8 episodes, but they were an hour each, and they're not like, oh, we gotta hurry up and go. Like, it just feels to me like they're kind of hamstringing themselves by not. But that's not them. I imagine that's Disney. Telling
I
them,
wonder.
This is the time you get. This is the money you get.
Yeah, I wonder how much of that is Filoni saying this is the story that I have in mind. These are the number of episodes that I want to do, and how much of it is Disney saying you're going to get this much.
Right.
So, funny story about some of the other shows. I was on hall duty the other day, and I was like, you know what? Your wife was saying how you guys were watching the Young Jedi Adventures with your daughter.
Yep.
So I was like, oh, let me check it out, because I know it's geared for real little kids.
Real little.
So I'm sitting on hall duty, and I'm watching.
Like Muppet Babies for Jedi.
It is, but even like, I remember loving Muppet Babies as a kid. Now, maybe it was because I love the Muppets, and I was like, this is awesome. This is so much fun. But I was older than the demographic for Muppet Babies.
Yeah, you were a little too old for Muppet. I was Muppet Babies' age.
Right.
So you were like, just out of that age group.
Yeah.
But like again, you were probably young enough that it was still like, it's a kid's show.
It's a kid's show.
Muppets,
It's fun, whatever. Yeah. So I enjoyed it, even though I was a little too old for it. But
although, have you watched the old ones recently, the Muppet Babies?
Did they not hold up well?
It's weird, man.
Oh, I'm
There's
sure.
Something about the animation style. And
yeah.
It's just
well, I mean, you get the Saturday morning cartoon animation style where it's like one frame per or 6 frames per second, as opposed to 24 that a regular, like a real movie cartoon goes at. So
Muppet Baby. Anyway, go on.
Make your dreams come true. Yeah, I used to watch it all the time. But so I'm sitting in the hallway watching, and one kid comes out and he goes, "What are you watching?" I go,
"A baby show."
Young Jedi. Is it Young Jedi Chronicles or something?
No,
like
I think it's
just
Young Jedi.
Young Jedi. And he looks at it. He goes, looks at me. Why?
A valid question.
It was a very valid question, but of course I was like, "Why not?" And he was like,
"A valid answer."
All right, I'm going to the bathroom, and he just like walked away. It was so funny. Why?
And so, what are your thoughts?
I watched 1.5 episodes. It's cute. It's very it's fun because it's like you said, Muppet Babies. They're teaching the kids morals. They're teaching the kids lessons and all that stuff. So it's cute. It's fun. If I was 4, 5, 6 years old, I would love it.
I tell you what, those kids suck at the Force.
They do.
I could probably kick them in the face, each one of those kids, and they wouldn't be able to even get their lightsaber
They wouldn't be able to stop it. I saw the kid kept dropping his lightsaber, and then I think Yoda was there, and then Yoda gave him his lightsaber back or something like that. He was like, "Oh, thanks, Yoda."
I like, who's the little blue one? Puba, I think maybe his name is.
Puba, yeah.
I don't know. There's a little blue bear. He kind of looks like an Ewok, but he's blue.
Yeah, he's blue.
Yeah, I like him.
Yeah, he seems fun. Is he the one that's always causing problems?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to have one that's
pesky
always
blue aliens.
Pesky blue aliens are always causing
Speaking
problems.
of pesky blue aliens, I did also just finish the new Thrawn trilogy, not the one that you had just finished,
right?
But the one that you had already read.
The one I read the first time, yes.
So it's good. I liked it a lot. The third book I thought I'd like the second book best.
Was the new trilogy? Was that the one where Thrawn knew Anakin and Darth Vader? Okay,
yeah,
yes.
That's the second book.
That's
I thought that would be my favorite.
Okay.
It actually was my least favorite, and I did like it. But the first and third book I liked more because it focused and centered more on Thrawn and Eli Vanto.
Okay,
who I was a big fan of.
Yes.
It looks like we've been joined.
We've been joined. Look at
we
that.
We have a guest among us, and his facial hair is way better.
I know he has much cooler facial hair than both of us.
Point that out. Well, you always shave yours, but how you doing, man?
What's up, guys? My facial hair is a mess right now.
Well,
I'm under a mask all day because I'm feeling under the weather.
Oh, no.
Getting ready to start tour. So.
Well, it looks delightful to us over here at Banthamo. So thanks for joining us, my friend.
Yep.
Absolutely. Eric is running. He said 20 minutes late.
Unacceptable. That's it. I can't believe this is not in my rider.
We had all the green M&Ms delivered to his house and everything. So I can't believe this.
The lengths we take.
The lengths that we take.
He has them. He's just... He saw them and he says thanks. But
he says thanks. That's
I got what I wanted out of this transaction.
Yeah.
That's right, man. That's all good. Well, we can chat with you as we wait. That's fine. Welcome. Thanks for being here.
Yes.
We are joined, folks who are listening at home, by a band member of Galactic Empire. Can you just give us a little intro on who you are and your role in the band?
Other than the one that has the best facial hair in the band.
Sure. Yeah.
I guess that's objectively true.
Sure.
Eric's got a way better beard.
Okay.
Okay.
So my name's Kevin Penny. I play bass for Galactic Empire. Been close friends with the band for a while, so watch them start and bloom and everything with my guitar players in my other band. And we are doing a bunch of tours out here in the U.S. and the EU and UK at the end of the year. So Friday we leave for East Coast.
Okay. And where are y'all located out right now?
So we're
Tatooine.
in mostly southeastern PA or central PA.
Sure. So y'all are Lancaster based, right?
Yeah, or Lidditz technically.
Okay. Well, we're out in New Jersey, so we're not too far away from you. My wife is actually a Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania native, so kind of all up in that area.
That's where our TM is from.
All right, rock on, man.
I should have known when you said Lancaster correctly.
Well, instead of saying Lancaster, like, oh, he's a Lancaster. This is one of our people.
I was literally talking about it with my partner the other night. They're from Delaware, and they're like Lancaster. I was like, that's not.
No.
Oh yeah,
that's not it.
There's some dead tells for sure. I lived in Louisiana for a couple of years, and you could always tell the people who weren't from there. They're like New Orleans. It's like you're not from around these parts, are you? It's New Orleans. It's one word, one syllable, New Orleans.
That's right. Yeah.
But glad to have you, man. A hometown guy. So it's funny. We actually I was put onto you. I'm a musician. I played music most of my life. I'm a music teacher. And I was put onto Galactic Empire by a student of mine, literally, I don't know, a couple weeks ago. And it's much to my shame. First of all, I think this student is currently in the chat right now, so shout out to you, Gail.
Yeah.
But much to my shame, considering how much of a fan I've been my whole life, and I'm a musician, that I had not heard of y'all. So how long have y'all been around playing together?
So the current lineup, the five of us are new as of like the first show that we played as a unit was in San Diego.
Okay.
However, the four other members, me excluded, played 3 shows in May with the founding bassist, Carson. So we've been a band as a whole since the release of the new trilogy. They had filmed the music video for the main theme. And I remember being at work, and my guitar player, was like, it's going live, or, my guitar player in my band, was in the band chat for Illustrium saying like, it's going to go live. And like, it's really cool. You guys should check it out. Even if you don't like Star Wars, a lot of effort went behind it. Honestly, I'm glad once it's out there, I'm glad that it's done. And, I can finally stop stressing about it and,
sure.
It be over. And then, in less than a shift at a bar, it had 1 million views on
sure.
Facebook alone.
And this was, you said, the main title theme?
Yeah.
Okay.
So at that point, it was like, hey, Chris, I think that there's, you're probably not done with this project yet.
Yeah, probably not.
As I'm understanding it, I think that there probably is an audience to go see this.
Sure.
So, and sure enough, from there, that was when they like really scaled up. Grant, the founding drummer, is the one that composed everything. So I don't know if he already had like the full, first album ready,
right?
Or if he kind of jumped into that, like afterwards, and he's like, I got to get something ready. Like I got to go right now.
Sure.
So the first show that they played was on ETV.
Nice.
Okay.
For like a red carpet event, and they were like, we're kind of, they're like, what? Like flights paid, hotels paid,
sure.
like travels paid. It's an all expenses.
It's like
thing.
oh my god, we made it. How did this happen?
Yeah, and it was like an ETV like Star Wars fashion carpet show.
Okay.
thing.
Okay.
But they were like, all right, so like we can play the material live in theory, so why not expand that even further so that, the first show that they played as a band in costume, I think they wore like Sith robes.
Sure.
Like,
okay.
just kind of
yeah.
whoa, spooky guys.
Yeah.
Was at the Chameleon Club in Lancaster, and I saw it on a date, and I was actually so nervous for them that I was like physically shaking.
Oh my goodness.
Which I don't know that I've get that nervous for most things. I don't know that job interviews or anything like that I've ever been that nervous.
Sure.
Some of it too, I hyped it up. I was like, you're not gonna believe these guys. They're so sick. They're fantastic players, and they're really good. And even though it looks like they can see, and they're really good players.
And then you're sitting there the whole time like, oh my god. It's like when you show someone a video, like, no, wait, just watch. It's gonna be great.
It's gonna be great. The good part's coming. It's coming.
Just watching them. Like, you watching this, guys?
Oh my god, if they suck, this is
gonna be so embarrassing. It's gonna be so bad.
And yet here you are.
Of course, they played and they were great. And before I was in the band, I saw them, I don't know, 4 or 5 times. Like every time they played a Philly area show,
Okay.
I was like, I'm coming out to support.
Sure. And y'all just
I'm coming out to support. They would give me a free ticket, so I'm
right.
I'm not really supporting financially.
Yeah, you're not supporting. You're just being there.
Hey, listen, man. There's support in being in the room. I will tell you this as a musician, and both of us as creators, we know there is support in just being there and absorbing the output. So, so I get that 100%. So, all right. So you it seems like you just got off of a pretty intense tour.
Yeah, so what we've been doing is like 2.5 week runs, then coming back, and then coming back for like a week, 2 weeks, and then running back out.
Sure.
So we did West Coast, and then really because of flights, West Coast we left for a little over 2 weeks, and then came back, and then it feels like I think like a day and a half later we were back on the road for Midwest, or like back at the studio. So that was unfortunate, but at least from a recovery standpoint, I was like, this can definitely work out between us. And then I was like, by the way, I'm actually not feeling well, and so we leave tomorrow, so I'm just gonna chill.
And do y'all each have day gigs?
So Eric, that'll be joining us, teaches lessons. So just teaches guitar. My guitar player up in New York City, so the only one that's not in PA is also teaches guitars, or instruments in general. And then so I think that my other guitar player did take this, kind of as a full-time commitment. This and like his other bands. And then I sell cars, and Kevin, our drummer, works for Wegmans.
Okay. Yeah.
So
rock on. I mean, listen, it's funny, as like someone who plays in bands, I'm almost always one of the only ones who like music is my primary gig. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like it's kind of the great thing about music is that you don't need to be like, I make my money just solely on music. You can kind of do it with whatever. Is there, now I know you said you joined later. Do you know, like for you, obviously you came, you enjoyed the band, you a Star Wars fan, I assume?
Yes. Yeah. And so even when joining the band, so a lot of the knowledge that I had at that point was from my partner, kind of helping me out. And the joke would be that like they'd say something and I'd go, "Are you sure about that?" I'm the one that's
I'm in the Star Wars band.
Star Wars band, so I don't know. Let me check my knowledge bank. That sounds correct, but let's verify online.
Right.
So at that point, I was like, well, I got to catch up. So, and I'm still catching up, because I get sucked into shows and I have to take it slowly. So like, I'm like trying to like, I'm like asking them, my partner, for their recommendations. Hey, where's your, where should I, what episodes of the Clone Wars should I watch to catch up on Ahsoka and Rebels, and then I could fill in the rest as I go.
Yeah.
So, Eric, I think, has gotten through everything. Like, did like a full like Star Wars universe rewatch.
Sure.
Nice.
So, and he says, I will confirm this with him, but I think that he's mentioned that his favorite show, not just Star Wars show, but favorite show is Andor.
Okay. All right.
Like, it's just it's an extremely like human show.
Yeah.
That also happens to have, take place in the universe that has, Grogu and
Yeah. Now, did you watch Andor?
No.
Okay.
And that would be the next series for me to watch.
Yeah,
it sounds like it is.
Yeah,
and that's what we talked about on the show too with Andor, is that it was like it could be anything. It just happens to be a Star Wars show, but like it could, it could be on any planet. It's just like a cloak and dagger sort of like really good storytelling spy and intrigue show. It just happens, like you said, to be in the world of Grogu and Luke Skywalker and all these characters that we love. So
there's like 2 or 3 episodes that you could watch and completely forget that it was Star Wars.
Yep.
Because it's so real and so gritty. It's just the fact that like they're holding a Star Wars gun or something like that.
You hear a blaster sound, and you're like, oh, right, this is a Star Wars.
Like instead
show.
of bullets.
This is Star Wars. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's really fun. The storytelling in that is really good. Nick and I were talking before you got on just about Andor, because we've been giving reviews of each show and breakdowns of each of the Andor episodes and stuff like that. And I was about to ask him, of all of the Star Wars shows that have come out on Disney Plus, we were going to rank what we thought was like the best ones to the worst ones. So Andor was definitely going to be in my top 3 of the best shows that have come out on Disney Plus. So you definitely got to check it out. I agree with Eric on that one.
For sure.
You definitely need to check that out.
For sure. And y'all still writing music? I know you said your former drummer wrote a lot of this music. Do you still have anyone who's actively writing music, or are you mainly performing right now?
So Grant and Carson are still. So Grant and Carson own the studio that produces everything and that we work out of. So we're going to be meeting up at Atrium Audio in Lidditz. So Grant is still very much involved. Carson is still very much involved. So yeah, when the new series, new shows, new themes are introduced, those will be worked on.
Sure.
And then I'm sure that we still have plans to go back and do specific things. Like people have asked for like General Grievous's theme.
Sure.
So it was a little frustrating that the Ahsoka theme was, I don't want to say underwhelming. I think that it's good, but
we're coming out of Ahsoka, and going through y'all's CDs, every new track I get to, it's like you almost forget those tunes. Then you hear them, and it's in a different light, and you're like, oh my god, it almost brings back these memories. But thinking about Ahsoka, there's no musical themes that really hopped out and grabbed me.
No.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's, with Mandalorian, and I love y'all's cover of the Mandalorian theme. It is one of my favorite ones of y'all's. And the Mandalorian theme music, and I'm a huge John Williams fan. I can only imagine that y'all are as well. And so when the new Star Wars started coming out without John Williams, me and my wife, who are both musicians, were skeptical. We were like, this doesn't sound the same. Something. We could tell the very first one that came out, this isn't John Williams. But like the Mandalorian, and that's why we started this podcast, was because of the Mandalorian. That's the first thing that kind of came out with this podcast, and that music is just so iconic. It's like. It feels like primal, and like it's the perfect sort of, I feel like, song for your specific genre. And I don't know.
I do
Go ahead.
So like hearing that Mandalorian cover, like when it came out, I was like, oh, okay,
yeah,
all right. I was like, well, this is going to replace listening to the actual Mandalorian theme.
Yeah, for sure.
Now the show starts, and I'm like waiting for ours, and I'm like, oh, that's right. That's
yeah.
Not how this goes.
And it's there when you do covers like this, I feel like it's so, you're always running the risk of like sounding cheesy. You know what I mean? Especially when it comes to like, Star Wars music or music from movies. Like you're always kind of just up against the risk of like just sounding silly. Especially with a tune like the Cantina Band theme. The Cantina Band is like the most classic Star Wars tune that everyone knows. And like it's such like a happy, peppy tune, but the way y'all do it, like it still keeps that quality, but it's not cheesy at all. Like you manage to find a way to make it work with your genre, and no matter how cheesy it is, a kind of a cheesy song, right? It's just kind of supposed to be, but it still has that really driving quality that y'all want to give it, and that really, I don't know, it's interesting for someone like me who has grown up with this music to just hear it in this completely different light, and yet somehow it still makes me feel nostalgic. It's almost like listening to it for the first time again.
Do you? I mean, Grant is a really fantastic producer. Like in general, I don't know if you like know of Atrium Audio, but like, him and Carson have worked on like August Burns Red, out of the studio, Rivers of Nile.
Sure.
So like they've both got a really really fantastic ear, and especially for a metal that lends itself to like more melodic pieces.
Yeah,
so they were kind of like I guess like the forefront experts on like, okay, so there's a lot of melodic content, happening in, a million different timbres, and we want to compress it down to, a metal song. How do we do that? And it's like, oh, well, what did we do for August Burns Red? Well, what did we do for Portals? Well, what did we do for these guys and 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 these guys? It's like, oh, well, we'll just, and at that point they've already got the, the structure like lined up in their, memory palace or whatever.
Sure.
He just sits down and he's like 20 minutes later, he's like, all right, I've got the first album done.
Wow.
I'm sure it was not like
yeah.
Right, but it sure seems that way, right?
It was probably not 20 minutes.
Right.
And may have been like 6 months of ripping his hair out. But,
sure. Yeah. And is there a reason for y'all that it's Star Wars specific? Like, obviously Star Wars has iconic music, but you've also, in your most recent releases on Spotify, I've seen branched out to Jurassic Park, to Indiana Jones, which obviously are more John Williams IPs. So is there a specific like pull that y'all have towards John Williams specifically, or is it just that you've kind of noticed that your your listener base like oftentimes likes this music and you're kind of branching out from there? Or are y'all just nerds like us and you just want to kind of make that music?
I think that it was the decision was Grant's idea, because he originally wrote like drums to the main theme and like wrote that arrangement. And he just there's just so much iconic, memorable motifs and themes in the Star Wars universe,
right,
that you can work with. Like, and the first album is like nothing but like song after song of like people who may not have even seen the movie, who don't even like Star Wars, who would listen and go, oh, that's from like the like Star Wars.
Yep.
Whether you played them, our version or like the version from the soundtrack, they'd be like, this sounds like it's from Star Wars, because it's such an iconic soundtrack.
Yeah.
So I think that it was, that kind of lent itself. Whereas like, I think you could do a similar thing with like Lord of the Rings.
Sure.
There's so many like, just like
leitmotif and
getting hammered with throughout the entire series. And really that genre or that like movie series is like, it was my original forte.
I'm putting it out there. If Galactic Empire puts out a Lord of the Rings album, I am there, dude. Like, I would love to hear the Ring theme played by y'all. It'd be great.
Yeah,
so
that would be
maybe put that in the memory banks and like drop that in someone's ear for later in the year or something.
We're trying. So like in terms of like moving forward with like other music too, I think that the main theme will always be Star Wars, but that it is fun to expand outwards.
Sure.
Yeah.
Though like at that point we do run into the issue of like theming, where it's like, what are we?
Right.
Are we still a Star Wars band, and do we still dress up like Star Wars?
Right.
Or do we like start being even more ridiculous and like, two of us are Star Wars characters and one of us is, an elf.
Right.
Lord of the Rings, and then, two of us are like people like eviscerated by dinosaurs.
Sure.
In Jurassic Park. Like where are we? Who are we?
Yeah.
And I'd imagine a large part of your persona is that the live show feel. You're there, you're dressed up, you've got that energy. Do you find a lot of your live show audience members are more metal fans or more Star Wars fans, or kind of a mix of both?
So we've actually talked about this, and so there's two very distinct crowds. And you can kind of tell the difference between like, we're playing a metal show, and then we're playing just a show at, a regular a venue. It's standing room.
Sure.
There's, barriers, or there's no barriers, and people are standing right up against the stage. And that's more metal, just on the basis of like, the environment, the location and everything. There's a very different feel from convention shows.
Right.
Like when we played Hot Springs, Arkansas for SpaCon, that was a lot of fun, because like, everybody there is like a super nerd.
Right.
But it was a little weird for the whole first song. Like there just weren't like the same cues that we're used to. Like I think that people were like afraid to like, woo!
Right. Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
Like, after we played, like, we got halfway through the main theme and there's that big like break. And again, I think people are just kind of like,
yeah, they're
like, what is this? Like, what are they doing?
They're not the people who go to a metal show. They're not sure. Like, what do I do?
They're
like,
not.
what
Am I allowed
supposed to do? Yeah.
How do I mosh?
Yeah.
How do I mosh? How do I bang my head? I've only seen it on TV.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So like when we're the recent tour that we did in the South with Hanabiye, which if you don't know them, fantastic. Can't recommend them enough. But it's it's kind of like kawaii core.
Okay.
So it's for like really cute women that are from Japan and they play heavy metal.
Okay.
And screaming vocals and everything. It's a blast.
Sure.
And they're fantastic live. But like we would do some shows with and without them, and without them it was like convention shows and stuff like that. And yeah, it was a totally different audience.
Yeah.
So it all depends on where we're booked, essentially. The people that are at the metal shows, typically, it's not like people are there like, I don't even like Star Wars and I just came out to see you.
Right.
There has to be some kind of interest in Star Wars.
Right.
Or like, well, my friend dragged me here because I like metal and he said that this would be cool even though I don't know anything about Star Wars.
Sure.
Like, there's something for people of that caliber too, but it is like themed in a way where like, I don't see that people are, the metal shows are, still Star Wars fans.
Right.
Right.
And then the shows that are more Star Wars fans might not be metal fans as a majority, but
right.
they're like,
but they're there for the Star Wars themes.
Yeah.
They're there for the experience. Sure,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, man, that's great.
So since you're newer to the band, what costume are you daunting on stage? What are you wearing on stage as the band member now?
so.
And you said you're the bass player, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So part of my costume is a bass, and that is just a costume piece. It's not real. It's all fake. No, that's not true.
Somebody in the back pushes play.
They just have you on stage because
Yeah.
of the beard, man. It's
Yeah.
like we just need you to look pretty and hold the bass.
That's right. They if I fell off stage, the bass part wouldn't change.
That's it, man.
Crazy how good I am.
That's it.
No, so yeah, I'm OD66 is the character.
Okay.
So Order 66.
Sure.
And it's kind of a play on like a Death Trooper specialist.
Okay.
So like down to like the lights in the chin area.
Sure.
And of course, like we have to modify it slightly for parody's sake.
Right.
And so the costume designer. So this is for the new lineup. We have like an actual costumer.
Okay.
Sean Bradley, and he does fantastic cosplay stuff. His stuff on Instagram, that he had done recently for a convention was like he went out as Yondu, and it's fantastic.
Yeah. All right.
And he builds like life-size elite, figures.
Okay.
And like Master Chief armor pieces and stuff like that. So a
Sweet.
true professional.
Yeah. This guy he does the stuff. All right.
Yeah, and does like life casts and stuff like that. So he's got a workshop. So
So we got to get you, Rob.
I understand.
Yeah.
Carson was just doing everything with himself and his mom. So like it sounds like the old masks were kind of like modified hockey masks.
Sure.
Okay, I can see that. I've seen the pictures, and now that you say that, it makes sense. Yes.
And they weren't quite as structured, and they were easier to like get wet and stay wet.
Okay.
And not have like proper drying ability and stuff like that. So, yeah, this time around is a little bit nicer. And
Yeah.
I was talking to my guitar player about it because he's like, he asked kind of the question where it's like, is it a Star Wars band or is it like, a John Williams experience?
Right.
And I was like, well, we're all kind of like Star Wars characters that are kind of parody, but not quite like, Darth Vader, but
right.
Yeah.
Dark Vader.
Dark
Right.
Vader. Yes.
Dark
And he's
helmet.
like, it's not the same. Don't pretend. And I was like, I mean, Kevin is just a Mandalorian.
Right.
Right.
I mean, all the costumes look great too, man. Like you look at, I was watching the Mandalorian theme music video, and that Beskar armor looks pretty damn good, man.
Mm-hmm. It looks good up close too. Like,
yeah,
it's not like a 5-foot paint job.
Sure.
Like all that stuff is like, really looks cool.
Yeah. How comfy is it to play in?
Skip. Next question.
Yep, I figured that'd be the case, man. You got to do what you got to do with the gig, right?
Yeah.
Have you
refinements as you go?
Yeah.
It's always hot.
It
doesn't matter. There are some venues that you get there and you're like, Jesus, it is cold in here. It's like 58 degrees.
Love that. Yep.
But then you get in.
Then you get 100, 150,
yeah,
200
you get all
people
those
in
people
the room.
in there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the most miserable show that we played was in Arizona during the heat wave.
Of course.
Great.
When is Arizona not in a heat wave?
Yeah, right. Honestly.
Yeah.
A heat wave in Arizona is like 170 degrees.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was 120.
Oh my
When
gosh.
we pulled up to the venue. It was 104 at midnight.
Great.
It was an outside venue.
We weren't even fully in Arizona.
Yep.
And it's just so if you're from New Jersey and this area, we get humidity.
Sure.
Yeah.
And people are like, oh, well, it's 120 in Arizona, but it's a dry heat. It's not that bad. And then you get there and it's like, oh, it's just a different kind of awful.
Yeah, exactly.
This is not bad. This is bad.
This is still bad. Yeah, I remember when I went to Vegas, it was like 104, and I'm like, I don't care if it's a dry heat or humid heat. If it's over 100 degrees, it's hot AF. It's too hot. It doesn't matter.
Oh man,
wow.
Here's the
there
beer.
he is. We've heard all about this beer.
Yes.
Broadcast.
And he walked away. He got on. He walked right away. He was like,
He was
"That's
like,
it.
I'm done.
out of here."
I'm out. I'm not talking to these two idiots.
I don't blame
Sorry,
him.
guys.
How's
I
it
got
going,
stuck in
man?
traffic.
That's
Yeah,
okay.
Unacceptable. You know that Pennsylvania traffic. I get
Yeah,
it.
there's a lot of traffic in
horrible.
Lancaster. We know.
Yeah,
It
man.
was, well, I'm actually in I was coming out of Chester. I think there was a sports game or something tonight.
There was some kind of sports game. Yeah, there. Well, in Philly there was.
Wasn't there a Phillies game tonight?
Yeah, there was a Phillies game tonight.
I don't think that affects him in Chester then.
Well, there might have been a soccer match also in Chester. If you were in Chester, they got the Union out there. So
Yeah, we're Jersey guys. So we're joined by yet another of the Galactic Empire. Glad to have you here. Your name, my friend?
Eric.
This is
Eric.
Eric, yes.
is the
so what is it? Is it water or water?
lead guitar. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
All right. Glad to have you, my friend.
I sometimes say I'm the singer of the band.
Great vocals. Great vocals. I haven't heard a single vocal in Galactic Empire that I've disliked. I will tell you.
Yeah.
Well, did you sing on Duel of the Fates? Because if there's some vocals on Duel of the Fates.
Oh no, that's I don't know. I actually asked Grant once how he tracked that, and he said he just got the same person in
Just
the
to-
vocal booth,
Yeah, just to track different.
tracked it 40 times.
That's great.
Yeah.
Hey man, you make do what you got, man. That's great.
I actually used that trick later on a different project. I was like, oh my god, I gotta steal this. And
I
then
love it.
It sounded amazing, and it
Yeah.
was so.
It doesn't sound like one person. It sounds like a choir of folks, man. That's great.
Yeah.
We were literally just talking about your beard and how wonderful it is now. We did make mention of facial hair because we all have facial hair, but me and Rob both are pittance compared to the both of you.
Yeah, we tower in comparison.
But we were talking. We've discussed a little bit about the history of the band, kind of where y'all come from, where you're going, some of the things you've done, some of your influence. We were talking a little about John Williams, about just kind of the music you play. But yeah, again, just happy to have you here. Maybe I'll ask you just kind of a couple of the same questions I've been asking. Is just how long you've been with the band, and you Star Wars fan, you or is this just I'm a guitar player, let's do the thing.
So the funny thing about so I joined this band back in January.
Okay.
Actually, all of us did. I don't know. Basically, we're sort of slowly being indoctrinated into the whole new thing now, and everything like that. But I got in. The drummer kind of got us all in this whole new lineup. But I was I watched all the Star Wars movies as a kid, right? So I joined this band, learned all the music, and I was like, cool, all right. And then we played like this like 3-day run, and back in May, where the first show was with Run DMC, which was just very strange coincidence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't exactly understand how that all happened. we're about to release something with him now, and my guitar solo is on that. I'm really excited for that.
Yeah, man.
That's awesome.
Stay tuned for that.
I will.
But basically, after that run, I was like, okay, you know what? Because during that whole time, it was like there would be people coming up to me after the show, and they were like, yo, so like, what did you think about this movie or that movie? And I'm like,
I really should watch these things.
I went back, I watched them all. I felt like an idiot. I was like, man, these are actually fantastic.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah,
And then from there,
that
it was
George
like,
Lucas, he's got a thing going.
Yeah. Then I watched the Clone Wars in its entirety. I had nothing to do for like a month, you know? There's like this weird depression you get after like kind of playing a few big shows where you're just like, I'm not doing anything and no one's talking to me. So I watched the Clone Wars in like a very short span of time.
It's a lot of episodes, man.
Yeah, it was a lot. And then after that, I started watching like all the other series that came out, like Mandalorian and Andor, which Andor is like my all-time favorite show.
We were
Like,
talking about that before you came on. Yeah, it's
like by far like probably one of the best like TV shows of all time. Like you don't even have to be into Star Wars to enjoy it, I think.
yep.
Yeah, we were saying how it's like it's just a great war movie, war show, and then you're like, oh look, they're using blasters. You know, like it's like, oh, there is Star Wars in it.
The one scene that caught me, and we've talked about it on this podcast, is there's the one scene where what's the guy, Stellan Skarsgård? His character is talking to some dude just on the train.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? In Coruscant, he's just kind of like talking about like they could be on a train anywhere. You know what I mean? And talking about like just anything, and it just happens to be in Star Wars.
Yeah, no, I want them to make a second like season. I don't exactly know what the plan is with that, but that show was just phenomenal.
It's Disney. If they can make a couple more bucks on it, they're gonna.
Oh yeah, sure.
For sure.
So yeah, I don't know. After I joined and then played those shows, I kind of did my homework, and I'm like a huge Star Wars fan, but I'm still catching up. So I'm right now. I watched Ahsoka, but now I'm like, okay, I need to go back and watch Rebels.
Okay.
Rebels is good.
I'll tell you, you're like, as far as Star Wars fans go, there are loads of people who call themselves like diehards who haven't watched Rebels. So you're doing all right. But Rebels is one of those ones that we try and push people towards more and more because it's hands down my favorite Star Wars experience.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, Rebels is, and especially if you watched Ahsoka, Rebels is essentially like the 5th season of Ahsoka.
No,
I'm sorry, vice versa. Ahsoka is essentially the 5th season of Rebels.
Right. I'm on the 4th season now. I'm a little bit confused, but I think I think it's just because I watched the first episode of season 4 and I'm a little bit lost.
Okay.
Killed off one of the characters.
They
I don't want
did.
to spoil anything.
Yeah.
Sure.
And then he's like back now, so I'm wondering if they did the same thing where it's like not in chronological order or something.
I'd have to look at that again. Either way. So
yeah.
you said you're watching Rebels now?
Yes.
Okay. Give it some time. It's 4 seasons, I think. It's only 4 seasons. This last season is...
I'm close to the end, you know.
And the last season does get very trippy. This is where like the world between worlds gets introduced and all that stuff.
Yeah, it gets weird.
So you'll understand it introduces what you see in Ahsoka in the 4th season. So it does jump around a little bit and stuff, but it is quality.
Yeah.
I hate people who are like, "Oh, I'm not watching a cartoon." And I'm like, you don't understand. Like, it is good entertainment.
Yeah.
Nick and I were talking about the Muppet Babies earlier today.
We were.
And it's definitely not the Muppet Babies. This is quality entertainment here.
Yeah. I'm all for it. I mean, I think that, like, not to get all philosophical out of nowhere, but I think like, some of these fictional stories are, like, really good metaphysical ways for us to explore actual reality. And I think that, like, with something like Star Wars, what makes it interesting is that, like, I'm also reading like Sapiens, which is this history of humanity in a way, and it's very interesting to see how like it doesn't go into quite that much detail. I'm sure that somebody who knows their history, it's like but it is interesting to see how Star Wars sort of mimics a lot of like these actual historical events with like the rise and fall of like entire kingdoms and you know, like power dynamics and like, you know, I don't know.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I agree 100%.
And you can definitely see in George Lucas's storytelling where he was drawing on history and drawing on, I think some of the best storytelling is not telling things that have never happened. It's telling things that have happened over and over again in new ways for us to see and learn from.
Yeah.
And that's Star Wars essentially. So,
Yeah.
So, all right. So you guys have, like I said, you came off a tour recently. You said you had been going out, 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. I know at some point pretty soon in the next couple of weeks, you're going to be out in Teaneck, New Jersey. I already saw that. So I've got my eyes on that. But
you should come out.
Trust me. I'm already like poking my wife like, hey, just so you know, things are happening. But what's on the horizon for y'all? What's up next? Like, you have any projects you're working on?
Total world domination.
That's perfect.
Same thing we do every night, Pinky. Try and take over the world. That's right.
So,
you have
well,
something, right?
what?
You have something you're working on, or the Galactic Empire, or
anything, man.
you
Y'all,
Either
your
or, yeah.
personal,
I'm
obviously I'd love to hear more about what you do
I'm
outside of
releasing
this as well.
I'm releasing an album outside of this band with my band Insomnivore, which is kind of like my baby. I've
Okay.
had since like high school.
Sure.
Actually, since middle school.
All right.
But we're gonna release an album on Leap Day next year.
Okay.
oh, nice.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited for that.
What kind of music you play with them?
It's like Meshuggah, just my version of Meshuggah, I guess.
Okay.
I'm not trying to be all that original. I mean, I've shown it to a bunch of people, and they're like, "Yo, this sounds better than Meshuggah. Or, this sounds nothing like Meshuggah." And I'm like, nah, I mean, I was trying to
It
sound
is
like,
very good.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. I have a bad habit of blasting music in the van when I'm driving, when it's my turn to drive. So all the guys in the band have heard it a few times now.
Sure.
Music. He just blasts Meshuggah or that album,
Or
That's fine.
like bebop jazz. And
Yeah?
Or like Pink Floyd was the recent one.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Bebop. Any specific jazz musicians you like?
Coltrane is like probably up there, but
Sure.
it's funny when I'm in the band. It's not bebop, but I really like putting on Joe Beam.
Okay. Yeah,
Really
man.
good driving music for some reason.
Hell yeah,
'Cause it's just
absolutely.
Nick's a jazz musician himself.
I am, yeah.
yeah.
He's a music teacher and a jazz musician. He plays the saxophone.
I
so
sure do,
he's
yeah. Joe Beam is one of my favorites. Absolutely. Rock on, man.
Joe Beam is like it's like a subtle sort of like if you know kind of thing.
Yeah.
His music is very, very
Stan
good.
Getz is among my favorite human beings who have ever lived. Aside from the fact that he was a crazy individual, he was a great sax player. But yeah, no, him and Joe Beam did a lot together, and that's interesting. Like you never think, oh, this guitarist, he's the lead guitarist in a a prog metal band. He's into Antonio Carlos Jobim. It's great to see that eclectic sort of
From
taste.
Jazz college, so like that's really where all of that came
Where'd you
from.
go?
Berkeley.
Oh, okay, yeah, sure, absolutely, yeah,
So
yeah.
It's funny because like there's such a strange dynamic where it's like some of us have been to like Berkeley and like music college, and then like Brett and I are like, I don't know, I play the notes
Sure.
that I hear.
And that's the great thing, and I tell the people all the time because I have too many degrees in music. Like I've gotten way too many, and
he has a lot of debt.
I have you can count my degrees in debt. But like I did some of my grad school in Louisiana, and I was playing a gig in New Orleans where we were supposed to we're playing a wedding and we were supposed to do a second line in, and Tremaine Brass Band was supposed to join us, but they got caught in traffic. Happened to you today, happened to them then, right?
Yeah.
And so we were in the French Quarter on the riverbank, and we were like, all right, well, what do we do? We walked outside and we found a couple people and said, do y'all want to make $50? And they did. And so it was like, here I was, and I was down there for grad school. You're studying to really further your knowledge. And here were some dudes we found on the street. The trumpet player was missing valve caps and stuff like that. I said, what key do y'all know this tune in? They're like, what do you mean key? They don't even know what it. And then they start playing, and you're like, this dude can wipe the floor. This dude just lives this music. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so just as someone who has gone the college route and really studied, it's always amazing to me that I did all this schooling you don't need all this schooling. You know, like it's great to do all this schooling, but like some of the best musicians I've ever met have never stepped foot in a music school. You know?
Thank you. Thank you very much.
It's Rob right here. That's right.
Saying such nice things about me.
Yeah.
I played trumpet in middle school, so
you
yes,
seem
I
like
was
someone
that
who would
guy.
have played trumpet in middle school, Rob.
That was me.
But yeah, again, it is the cool thing about working in music. I feel like is that you when you're a gigging musician, you gig with other people who their primary gig is music, but you gig with other people who like they're musicians, they're great musicians, but they get the bread on their table somewhere else. And so it's just a cool. You meet a lot of different types of people in our business. I feel like.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
I found it funny the amount of people that were haunt actors, and it's just like you can. I feel like you can kind of see the type of person and be like, you work at a haunted house.
Yeah.
How'd you know that?
Just a guess,
so like,
lucky guess.
Like, well, it takes one to know one. It's just like. But yeah, the Midwest tour we did, I think there was like 4 different shows we played, and one of the bands, one of the crew, something like that, at their shows. I was like, what haunted house do you work at?
You're clearly a professional haunter.
Clearly a professional, yes.
Yeah.
You're really good at that.
His powers are increasing.
You don't know the power of the haunt. Oh boy.
So you guys are going into the studio tomorrow? Is that what you were saying earlier? Are you working?
Just to rehearse.
Oh, okay. All right. Are you guys, now that you have the new band together, all the new members, are you guys going to come out with your own album anytime soon, or are you going to just keep working on the albums that you guys already have right now?
Probably that for now, and then kind of dual,
Yeah, there's like kind of like I said, so I was just recently on the new Run DMC drop. They had me record the guitar solo, but there's a lot of music that was already recorded before we got in the band.
Okay.
And I think the plan is to probably release it. The thing about it that's kind of difficult is that basically there's only so much Star Wars music,
Sure, yeah.
And we've kind of run into this problem where it's like, okay, not that we're like a cover band, but with limited material, it's like, okay, we can technically start the next album on Battle Scene number 57,
right,
movie number 4, but people aren't gonna like we were actually just talking about this the other day on a different one where it's like the problem with Ahsoka that I have is that it's like the main theme song for Ahsoka just is not memorable at all.
Sure,
right, yeah.
Yeah, and we were talking about before you hopped on, unlike like The Mandalorian, where we have that really memorable theme, even without like your cover, like just that theme song is just like a new novel, like catchy sort of thing, and it translates so well to what you all do. And I was reading another interview that y'all gave that essentially was saying that when it came to like after COVID and they had like almost like a 4-year stop in Star Wars movies where y'all were essentially just like, well, without new material coming out, there's only so much we can do to churn out new recordings. So essentially, y'all are kind of like waiting on Lucasfilm for some of this stuff.
Well, somewhat. I think the plan is, so we've actually gone and recorded a whole bunch of other movie themes, they have. We're new, obviously, but like, I think the plan is we're going to be recording more as it goes along. But like, we do have the theme songs to like a whole bunch of other shows and movies and such that are like, really hard hitting, really memorable kind of stuff. So
stuff you could play and people, don't have to be fans of that universe.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's that theme.
Yeah. I'm waiting for y'all to drop a version of Back to the Future.
Oh yeah.
Now that's a soundtrack that I feel like y'all could get a lot out of.
Well, I'll tell you what, I've been talking our producer's ear off, Grant. I've been talking his ear off about doing a few of my favorite theme songs of all time, and I think I've succeeded. So
nice.
You have any that you like have in your back pocket you've been really wanting to play?
Yeah, I do.
You just don't want to talk about them.
I don't exactly know what I am and not allowed to say.
Sure.
That's
anymore.
fine. That's
We're
fine.
at this point where it's like a lot of cool stuff, but I also like. I think it would probably be fine for me to hype it, but I should probably make sure with
Sure.
Yeah, not a problem.
You don't put the horse before the car, but you got some stuff in the works.
You got
some ideas.
You got yourself ideas.
100%. When if it were up to me, we would be covering like anything Arnold Schwarzenegger related. As
Sure.
Well.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Jingle all the way. I could see y'all doing a jingle all the way. Twins cover.
Heard the show or the song.
What's
Me down now. And
Kindergarten Cop? The Kindergarten Cop theme
yeah.
song, of course. You know.
You know what's funny is like I really wish that Arnold Schwarzenegger was in the Star Wars universe somehow. 'Cause,
I
like,
can't believe they haven't brought him in yet. Honestly,
yeah.
it seems like a home run. Like
Even just as a cameo, like he could
somehow
just
we have
be-
Lizzo and Jack Black in the Star Wars universe,
Right.
but not Arnold Schwarzenegger.
but not Arnold Schwarzenegger yet. Yeah. So
It's a travesty.
he's one of those actors where it's like I don't want to say he's a bad actor. It's like his acting style is very like he only plays one character.
he can only play his character. Yes, he can only play the character of Arnold
Plays
Schwarzenegger.
T-1000 in everything
Yep.
he's ever been in.
It's not the tumor.
That's right.
I am the Governor.
Get to the chopper.
Get to the space-time warp.
I would definitely watch a High Republic era Star Wars movie wherein Arnold Schwarzenegger played a Jedi Master.
Oh my gosh, it would be
Or a
cool.
Sith Lord.
A Sith
actually.
Lord. He would be a great Sith Lord.
I would
Throw
love
some-
to see him as a Sith Lord.
Throw some spikes on his head like Darth
I
Maul.
just want him to be like a politician. You know? That would be hilarious.
Yeah.
Just a paper pushing bureaucrat in
Yeah.
the Galactic Empire who's like,
Yeah, and he's just sort of like walking and he's like trying to, I don't know, something where he's not the T-1000.
No.
Yeah.
Like kind of hilarious.
And just watch him
Gotta give
try
him
to
a lot of
act as
rights.
something else.
first
yeah.
time in his life he's pulled off a different character. I'm there for that. If there's anyone who could do it, it's Dave Filoni, honestly.
Dave Filoni could get him to do it, that's for sure.
Oh, man.
All right, so I have a very pressing question for you. Who shot first?
Oh man.
Han Solo.
I mean, I don't know, Han, right?
Yeah. Well,
That's what you're supposed to
the
say,
correct
right?
answer
That's
is
what-
Han. Yeah.
That's what like the Star Wars fans tell you if you don't say like get
Yeah.
out of here. Right? That was the first test, right?
That was the first test to see if you actually knew what I was talking about.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
Go
yeah,
ahead.
I know that like the original edit wasn't it like
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it was Han, and then like when they redid it for the special edition, George changed it so like Han moved out of the way.
Yeah,
he
they
shot
changed
back.
it 3 different times. So yeah, but the original one.
And then I
Han-
think they
Han's the only
replaced.
one that shot.
They probably
yeah.
replaced Han's face with the new actor's face.
Yeah,
and
there's
then
they de-aged him. They
they
used
took
it-
his eyebrows out.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
all things.
All kinds of, good Star Wars stuff. So you guys are practicing tomorrow, and then you guys have a huge East Coast tour coming up over the next 7 to 10 days. Friday, you're playing in Brooklyn. Saturday, Albany.
Yeah.
Sunday, Cambridge, Mass. Tuesday, Hartford. So I'm guessing you guys aren't going home and then going back to Hartford.
Y'all are just taking that trip right on up, huh?
I'm kind of hopeful that we're spending a day off in Salem.
All right.
There you go. Go to see some
Yeah, I mean, I
haunted
guess
house actors.
I've spent enough time in Salem. It's like,
Yeah.
have you not been there before, Kevin?
I've been there twice.
He wants to go
all right.
again.
I've never been there during Halloween season
I'm-
because it's insane and there's like 1 million people and that's.
It's like Times Square on New Year's or New Orleans during Mardi Gras.
Yeah, it's. But when
But
in
it's an
Rome.
experience. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah.
Fair enough.
If you're already there, might as well take advantage of it. But
Yeah, Cambridge is Boston. Boston's an hour with traffic away.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I mean we our last tour we had a day off in New Orleans and that was a lot of fun.
that's fun.
Yep. Good town. It's a
Party-
solid
party-
town. Yeah.
Nick could tell you all the good party spots,
Yeah,
not
I
the
was-
touristy party spots.
Yeah, I was on my favorite thing about New Orleans is I was on my way to a gig one day down in New Orleans, and I was stuck in traffic, and I got passed by an upright piano. In traffic. I'm
In
sitting in
traffic.
traffic on my way to a gig, and I'm passed by a dude pushing a piano. I'm like, this is peak New Orleans right here.
This is peak. That is funny. So do you have Cambridge and Hartford, and then the next day you're going to Teaneck on Wednesday. That
Okay,
Nick
what day
wants
is
to go
that?
to. Wednesday, October 18th.
October 18th. It's like 5 days before my birthday. I gotta
It
get out
is.
to that.
You gotta, and it's on a Wednesday, so
We
you
do that
won't have
intentionally, actually.
I won't have marching band.
you won't
There
have
go.
marching band. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's one of those deals out here, y'all.
And then you guys, this is crazy. I don't want to be the guy driving the van for this one. You're going from Teaneck all the way down to Richmond, Virginia the next night.
Oh my God. Who's driving that?
It's been a theme with our tours. If you look on some of our other tours, it's been like, I think when we played the Midwest, so we're all just taking turns driving.
Okay.
But we played like a few gigs around like Kentucky, Louisville, stuff like that. Then we went down to Nashville at one point, and then we drove all the way up to Wisconsin, like Madison,
oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
And then from there we went back down to like Chicago and
Kansas.
Kansas. Y'all ever played Normal, Illinois?
We passed through it. We passed through Normal.
I'm sure you did if you went Chicago down to, yeah. I lived in Normal, Illinois. It's one of those places, one of those.
It's one of those places.
One of those places.
When we were going through Ohio, there was a theme, like a stretch, where it was like, yo, dude, have you been to...
Yep.
And the signs had nothing on them. Like, fully constructed and everything. But it was like, in 2 miles...
Nothing. In 2 miles, exit to nothing.
Just prove it to me.
Yeah.
I was like, people joke about it, but there it is.
There it is. There's an empty sign.
You don't really
2 miles,
realize
nothing.
until you spend some time. Again, I was in the Midwest for 2 years. It really is. It really is like that. Oh, man. So, again, we've got this tour coming up. We don't want to hold you all for too long. You got this tour coming up. I'm going to try and see what I can do about coming out to Teaneck on the 18th. You've got a couple things in the works for some ideas in the brain as far as things that we can get recorded.
Yeah. I think we're ending up in Pittsburgh.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was the moral of the story is we're going down to Virginia and then we're basically going back
up to Pittsburgh.
Well, up to New York. You're going to New York to Rochester and then to Pittsburgh.
So if you think that we somehow passed you in the van, like if we drive past your city or something,
yeah.
I mean, just be on the lookout. We might circle back.
Love it.
Yeah. So on from Richmond on Thursday, October 19th to Friday, October 20th, we'll probably pass each other on the highway because you're probably going to be driving near us and like past us on your way up to Richmond. So we'll wave to you when we see the van go by. We'll wave. We'll give you, hey guys, how are you? Yeah, so that's crazy. But then this is exciting. I guess you guys all have your passports because in November you're going to Italy and then to Spain and France and the UK. So that's going to be exciting. Have you guys been to Europe before, either of you?
I have not.
I'm actually Swedish, like a Swedish citizen.
Okay. So, but
very cool. So Swedish citizen. It's easy for you to say.
Yeah. But you said you have not. I'm sorry, you have not been to Europe before.
I haven't.
Okay, so this will be a new experience for you, brother. That'll be good, right? Have y'all been? Have y'all toured outside of the country as Galactic Empire? Or is this the first time?
As Galactic Empire, yes.
Okay,
but not with us in the lineup.
I got you. Right.
Tour that they did was in the UK, and it was very frustrating to me to hear that the person that was doing like TM and PR for them was James Monteith of Tesseract.
Okay.
Very cool.
Who is probably like number 1, number 2 favorite band of mine.
Sure.
All before you got there.
Of course, both my guitar players know that.
He literally only blasts Tesseract when he's driving.
That's right. And I drove 2 hours to see them in Baltimore because they are on tour right now.
Okay.
And the closest that we get is New York City.
Sure.
And we were like a 15-minute walk, which a 15-minute walk to normal people is not, is like a 5-minute walk for me.
Okay.
And then the venue got changed.
Oh, no.
And now it's like a 30-minute drive.
Oh man.
So, and most of it's just traffic, or like a 30-minute walk, or like a 15-minute drive. And I'm like, that's not going to make sense.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm seeing them in Baltimore, or, it could be another 5 years until I see them again. So we're not doing that.
Gotta do what you
make
gotta
it work,
do.
man. That's it.
And they were fantastic.
Of course. Yeah, man.
Absolutely love them. Fantastic. Kills it.
Well, I'll say for my part, it's been awesome having y'all on. I'm definitely going to see what I can do about getting to that October. What is he saying? 18th at Teaneck?
October 18th in Teaneck, New Jersey.
Yeah,
yes.
So for all of our East Coast fans, and we do have a solid amount out here because this is where we're stationed out here, try and check them out, whether you're checking out their Pittsburgh show, checking out their Teaneck show, or definitely check them out on streaming. They've got, I guess, 3 albums out, plus recently the new, not a single, you had the Jurassic Park and the
Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones,
yeah.
Right.
Technically, it's called the Raiders March, but we mislabeled it. And apparently, we got that wrong.
That's I don't think George Lucas or John Williams is going to send you a cease and desist or anything. Maybe he will, though. Who knows? They're owned by Disney now. It's possible.
That's correct.
Yeah, I'll tell you, the mouse abides.
The world's largest law firm fronting at it.
Yeah,
That's right, man. But it's been rad hanging with y'all. Thank you for agreeing to come on and talk to us. For those of you out there listening, again, please check out Galactic Empire. Go check out their shows, check out their streaming. Awesome music, awesome covers of really great classic themes and music. And we appreciate you having you guys.
Go ahead, plug away whatever you want to plug it away now. Your individual bands as well as Galactic Empire. Where can we find you on the social medias and all that good stuff? So go for it.
So my other band is Illustrium. That one right there.
There they are.
Not Neff. That's a brand that makes hats. I don't know. I don't have any association with that.
Bummer.
I mean, we put out an album, an EP in 2020 and an album in 2021. And then, we're kind of dormant. We have a fresh doctor among us, and, one of us is out on tour. I don't think that I can necessarily say with whom.
Sure.
But, is another band that, wears costumes and is much larger than we are.
Okay. It's the polyphonic spree, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
Does it rhyme with Taylor Swift?
Yeah, she's notorious for her costumes.
She's notorious for her costumes. No, not at all.
And then I'm working on recording with Monarchist, which is a good buddy of mine, Connor McNamee. He has an album out now, and he borrows our vocalist, Dr. Gerald Martin. So now he's officially Dr.
Now he's officially Doctor. Very nice. Good for him.
Other than that, no, I'm not doing anything. I'm doing free PR for Hyundai and Genesis.
There you go.
Feels like. And then, you can come see me at Bates Motel and Haunted Hayride. You might not know that it's me. So
you'll be the guy.
But one of the guys there.
You'll be the guy on the stretching table screaming.
Yeah, I've done that role. It's a fun one.
Sure. All right, rock on.
Watch when you get off of the table if it's cold out, that you don't forget that your ankles don't suddenly just retain not buoyancy. I guess
the blood flow.
Yeah. See, these are all insider tips that I would not have known if I didn't know. So
and I found them all out the hard way.
Someone has to, right?
Don't slam your hips continuously against a wagon over an entire night. You will displace a tendon in your hip.
You're saying don't slam your hips against a wagon.
Do that.
Continuously.
See, that was
Rob, that's where you went wrong, man.
That's where I went wrong. Yeah. And the other thing I did too. You also want to do is make sure you take the chain off the chainsaw.
Right.
You don't have to. We've had plenty of injuries with the chain off. Still,
I'm sure. Honestly,
we've had people. We had one guy that fell off of the wagon backwards onto a root and then
the
chainsaw.
Oh,
it doesn't have any chain on it.
Yeah, it's still heavy.
It still hurts. A heavy piece of equipment.
Ribs, that was cool.
Jeez.
That's cool. Yeah.
All right.
And then he worked the rest of the shift, which is stupid. I don't do that.
What's a broken rib amongst friends?
That's right.
Yeah, really.
All right. And how about you, my friend? Anything on the horizon? Anything you want to plug?
So I got that Insomnivore album. I'm really proud of it. It was mastered by Jens Bagram. So it sounds really amazing.
Great.
Comes out Leap Day next year with Insomnivore. I'm going on tour with this band called Kalius in December, right when we get back from Europe. It's this female-fronted death metal band. It's
very nice.
4-day run.
Great.
I'm about to release 2 music videos with a friend of mine. she just like there's like the thing between like a playthrough video and a music video, I guess. And
Sure.
I
Okay.
spent the last like 4 days. She hit me up out of nowhere. She was like, "Hey, can we do this thing?" And I was like, "Yeah, you're an old friend. Of
Yeah,
course."
let's do it.
She paid me a little bit, but then I was like, don't pay me more than this because you're a friend." But now I'm like 5 days deep in on this, and I have to finish this before I go out on tour, and I'm just I'm just like, man, maybe I should have asked for.
You should have asked for some more money.
A little scratch might have been helpful. Yeah.
You got a few hours.
Yeah.
Literally. After that, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna finish working on that. But if you're interested, I'm on social media. You can find me in the credits of one of our Galactic music videos, probably.
Sure.
Very cool.
Yeah,
I'm on Instagram as Kevin Illustrium.
Yeah.
Or some version of that. I think you can find me on Reddit as Miata Illustrium.
Okay. There you go.
All right.
That's the first.
Reddit. Yeah. You're the first person we've had on the show who has plugged their Reddit. That's actually pretty impressive.
That is
this is like 100 shows we've done.
On there is Eric Ride, so just find
awesome.
There. But
Eric with a K, Ride with a Y.
Yeah,
wow.
Of course. Right.
Look at you, man.
Because my parents just had to tell everybody that I was Swedish.
This guy's different,
right.
all right?
You're Swedish, yeah. You gotta.
He's not your regular everyday Eric, all right? I'm just saying.
Yeah, it's not with a C and an I.
Nah, get that crap out of here.
Yeah.
Well, we have one idea for you guys. We have this other musician friend named Tom Amin. He plays soft, subtle,
classic
piano
tunes.
Disney piano, Star Wars stuff. And since you already worked with Run DMC, you could do the same Run DMC Aerosmith mix-up with him and you guys, where he's playing the song nice classical and you guys are rocking out. And then, you bust through the walls and you guys do some kind of collage together. It would be the most amazing thing ever.
Rob's got a very musical ear.
I have a very...
he's our ear to the ground.
I want to reach out to the Galactic email.
Yeah, I'll just...
Galactic at Gmail or something. I don't know.
That's right.
I should know what the email is. I don't.
That's all right.
That's okay.
Listen, man, the amount of things that we're on the air and we go, what is that? We should probably know that.
We should know that.
People shouldn't allow us to have microphones in front of us. Either way, it's been great talking to y'all. It's really been an awesome time. Thank you so much for agreeing to come on. Please check out Galactic Empire. Check out their stuff on Spotify. Check out all their stuff on social media. You can find them on Instagram. And probably Facebook and the thing that used to be called Twitter. Who knows? X, Y, Z.
Yeah, that thing.
I will say real fast on Spotify, I am very impressed. Your Duel the Fate song has 2,638,627 downloads as of this moment in time.
This one right here.
This one right here. Now it's more. But yeah, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, man.
I'm
Turns out they've got some fans.
They've
got at least 2 more here, and
yeah.
we've got more of our listeners probably going to be tuning in on you.
Show up to the show, dress up.
Hey man, I'm gonna be in Teaneck on the 18th, and I'm gonna be like front row center with my daughter's Leia lightsaber, and y'all will know that's the guy right there. That's the guy.
How many people do dress up for your shows? Is it more just metal people or more dressed up people? What do you think?
Depends on the venue.
Okay.
I think it's probably like on average like 10-20%.
All right.
And I'd consider if someone showed up in a Jedi robe and nothing else.
That's
Okay. So a Jedi robe over top of the regular clothes.
Not just a Jedi robe.
Yeah.
That was pretty metal.
That would be pretty metal.
Kind of show.
Yeah.
That's the Empire strips back.
Yeah.
Speak to.
That's the late night show.
We've been trying to talk to them apparently.
Yeah.
Man.
We also play conventions once in a while.
Sure.
So there's a lot more people dressed up in those.
Yeah.
The one in Hot Springs had Yoshi. So of course when we played Jurassic Park, I had to run out and find Yoshi.
Of course.
My God, it's a dinosaur.
Yeah, you got a dinosaur. Yeah.
And we also had this. Maybe they exist in the Star Wars universe too, but front and center, there's a furry.
Okay.
Yeah, that
You're
furry
dragging.
followed me on Instagram. So hello to that person.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Hera is a Twi'lek, and she married or whatever, had a kid with a human. So I don't really call that a furry.
Listen, man, there's a lot of weird furry stuff going on in Star Wars. I don't know if you ever looked into it on the internet. There's some weird stuff with Star Wars on the internet.
I try to stay away. I try to stay away from that part.
It's probably for the best.
I will say Funhouse demo discs to know there's some crazy stuff involving Star Wars.
Oh yeah.
I will say if you do show up in costume, you still have to mosh.
That's right. Okay.
All right. Well, that's good. That's just good information to have.
Yeah.
You could really go wrong with the wrong outfit if you're moshing. Yep.
You got to mosh.
There you go.
Oh man. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for hanging. Again, check them out, Galactic Empire, on all the social media platforms. I want to thank you both for hanging out with us tonight and for taking the time out of your schedules. Check out their coming tour. Find them near you. Come say hello to them, and when you go say hi, say, "Hey, we heard you on Bantha Milk," and they will maybe high five you. Maybe. Probably not, though. But I don't want to guarantee that, but they might high five you. It's possible.
Not going to guarantee it.
These two look like dudes who would high five if you asked them for a high five. I'm just saying.
They might give you a turkey, though. They might.
Oh, my students all do that.
Do the turkey, yeah.
Or the squid.
That's fun too.
Yeah, the squid is the new one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Folks from Galactic Empire, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you guys so much.
Appreciate you taking
awesome.
the time. We're gonna probably call it there.
Yeah, we're just gonna close up shop at this point.
Yeah.
So you guys are more than welcome to peace out. It's been wonderful chatting with you guys. Have fun on your 2 upcoming tours. Enjoy Europe for the first time.
And maybe I'll see you in a week or two here in Teaneck, New Jersey.
Yeah.
Come say hi.
I will.
All right.
All right, gentlemen. Thank you
guys.
so much.
It's been awesome.
Thanks.
Take care, y'all. Have a good one.
Yeah. Bye.
All right.
That was awesome.
Galactic Empire.
Empire.
Good to talk to some dudes who are doing the thing, making money, making Star Wars music.
I don't want to play their music for them because I'm sure they've heard it before. But here's the Mandalorian you were talking about. And I think it's cool because Mandalorian is so metal to start with.
God, it's so cool.
It is so cool.
We should just end the podcast with this.
That's fine with me. All right.
From all of us here, we have spoken.
We have spoken.